few weeks ago, I was watching OK Code's stream, and his chat was busy asking him how he gets such great artifacts, and they were giving him a hard time because he had such great artifacts and they didn't. And his response was something along the lines of this.
So, chat, I'm AR56. I farm over 4,800 domain runs, but all that domain run is strictly on Noblesse set because I only farm Noblesse. I have never touched the very distant domain.
That got me thinking, because currently at the same time, I was on about week 3 of farming straight artifacts for my Hu Tao. I was spending every single day all my resin completely on just farming Crimson Witch domain to get good artifacts for it. There are many ways of acquiring power in Genshin's endgame. Talent levels, weapons, specific type of weapons, and artifacts. And a few other things, right? But nothing hurts you more than artifacts. Nothing will feel like the way rolling a bad substat or a bad main stat on an artifact does. It crushes you. It breaks you. When an artifact looks like it's gonna be great, and it just turns out to roll flat defense, or it just turns out terrible. Some days it's easy, you can take it, but other days it's significantly more painful than that. Now, I'm not trying to do a massive rant on what miHoYo needs to do to fix artifacts or the RNG. All I'm just trying to explain is basically how I deal with it. So, to break things down, artifacts are items that increase a character's stats. There are 5 artifact slots, and equipping a certain number of artifacts within a set can activate special artifact set bonuses. All artifacts have a main stat along with 4 secondary stats called substats, which together can greatly increase your character's strength in combat. People used to perceive certain characters really badly and just made assumptions just because they didn't know how to put the correct artifact set on that character. They made assumptions, right? Or they didn't get good rolls, or they didn't get the artifact to level 20, so you could see the high ceiling and what the character's capable of doing. But I say that like it's easy because that requires resin. To see what a character is capable of, Genshin kind of caps your ability to level up all your characters. So you can only level a select few. And if you're trying to get a character to its max potential, then you are 100% neglecting a ton of other characters that you could be playing with and getting strong at the same time. So its growth is kind of gated, and seeing potential is pretty difficult for most players, which is why there are guides and a whole bunch of other things, right? But the one thing, no matter what you do, you cannot avoid is the grind of artifacts. So let me basically tell you what happened, right? So before Hu Tao came out, I started farming Crimson Witch. I'd never farmed it before, and I would say about 2 weeks into farming. Yeah, man, 2 weeks into farming, I got most of the pieces I needed. The only thing I didn't have was the HP sands, right? And because Hu Tao scales off HP, you need the HP sands. And so I had the Pyro Goblet, everything. I just wanted to be able to use her, but I wasn't getting the HP sands. So I kept grinding. This is like 2, maybe 3 weeks in. I got one HP sands on set, right? Because domains are split between 2 different sets. I want to get the most out of my characters, right? Because this is a single player game, right? I tend to connect with the character, and I just like seeing what they're capable of doing. It takes time to build your character to be the best you want it to be, right? When I spend my time thinking about a character I'm trying to build, right, I'm assuming this is going to be a long journey to get the character right. It just makes the grind easier, you know? When I log on, I'm logging on to make Hu Tao better, my Hu Tao better, the way I want her to be, you know? If I'm logging on, I'm logging on to grind for my beta because I like using it. I think that just makes the grind a lot easier. I don't think, look, is it fair? No. Are there better ways of implementing things? Yeah, 100%. But I like playing the game. Look, the game's not perfect. The thing is just understand it's gonna take time. You know, to get your character to where you want it to be, it's gonna take time. And if you farm certain domains, if you're lucky, you'll get enough good pieces that they might match with the character that you want later on. Or you can use those, if you have a few good pieces, you can use the throwaway ones to fuel other characters. So it can kind of trickle off, right? So they can kind of benefit from you just grinding one domain. Because you can only make artifacts stronger by feeding them other artifacts. So that's a positive, but it's gonna take time. It is. It's not some quick fix. You're not gonna get great artifacts early. I just came to terms with the fact that that's just how it is here, you know? And it's not like a defeatist mentality, it's just I'm aware of what's required. You know, if I want my character to do good, I have to dedicate myself to that specific character at that specific time. Genshin's a long game, you know? And you don't have to pull for every character, you don't have to build every character. But when you get your character to where you want it to be, it feels great. It feels amazing. So I'm just really saying pick a character you care about building, you know? Build your DPS Chi-Chi if you want to. Build your Noel. Build your Chongyun, you know? Never forget, Genshin is a single player game, so play it like it is.